Hello, 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 everybody. It's Chrissy Hannes coming to you live in the new mini and celebration catalog kickoff party. Rebecca just went live and showed us the cutest cows. Just trying to get my camera straight. I think I'm with Rebecca. I think I need a new stand. Okay, I think that's about as straight as we're going to get. So I'm going to show you for the first of my lives, I'm going to show you the Stippled Roses. The Stippled Roses is in the new mini catalog. And of course I didn't mark my page, but there it is. It's on page 64. The bundle is $54, so this would qualify you to earn the free Softly Stippled DSP out of the Celebration book. So this will be the first card that I'm going to show you. I did want to show you the dies just quick because you get more pieces than needed, or extras, I should say. You get extras. So you get the big rose that'll cut out. You get the small rose that will cut out as well, which mine's over here. And you get the big leaf image from the stamp set as well. So these three will stamp cut out dies. But then you also get extra leaves and some flowers and stuff. And we will be using those in one of our cards as well. My children are in Lucas's bedroom. I'm in the dining room. Not out in the she shed today. Good morning, Linda. Denise, I saw, was on here. I'm just going to refresh my computer screen so I can see comments and mute myself so I don't hear myself twice. And then we will get started. Okay. So, all right. So this is the first card that I'm going to make for you. And I'll put my measurements right there. I've cut all the pieces ahead of time to save time, but I got a couple tips and tricks for you. So our card base is Blackberry Bliss, and it is not 5.5 by 8.5. I will fix that. It's 4.25 by 11. How'd I mess that up? Guess I wasn't paying attention when I wrote those measurements. And then we have Pebbled Path, which is 4 by 5.25. Our DSP is from the Softly Stippled. This is the pool party side. That's 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then I have a 2 by 5 1/8. And I'm going to tear it. So whatever side you want on the top, you're going to tear from the opposite side so that you don't see the white. And there is no method. Good morning, Larry. Hi, Laura. Hi, Ingrid. Jane Bickle. So you're just going to tear. There's no right or wrong. You can tear it as thick or as thin as you want. Like that. And then you end up with the nice edge that you want on the front of your card. Okay? And then we also have a Pebbled Path 4 by 5 1/4. Hi, Lisa Marie. And a 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 basic white for the inside. Okay. Little bit of stamping to do on this card, and I want to stamp the roses. Now I have one already stamped and die cut out, but I want to show you how to stamp this. And of course I'm using my glass mat. I'm just going with the glare, but I'm pretty much covering stuff up as we go along. This glass mat is absolutely beautiful. So if you are not a demonstrator, this is part of the join special. Join under whoever invited you here this weekend, and you can earn this free in your starter kit. It's a $60 value. It's pretty, to me, it's worth it. I had to pay the $60. So these big images like this, I put my ink pad to the stamp. I just find that easier to do. Set that over there. And then I have this scrap of white, and this stamp set and dies will fit in the mini machine. Good morning, Ava. And then I just press it down. This glass mat gives awesome, awesome images like that. Okay, I'm gonna clean this because we're gonna use this again in another color. I got my Stampin' Scrub right off to the side over here. Don't mind my broken nail. I broke a nail this morning right before my live. Okay, so this is freshly inked, and you can take the blender pens. These have been in our annual catalog for years. They're just a glycerin pen, and you can pull out the color and color. It'll pull that Blackberry Bliss like that, and you can get the color out of your roses, okay? So this is freshly stamped and it's pulling that color. What I want to show you is because of the glycerin, I stamped this one yesterday. It is still, because of the glycerin in this pen, it is still going to pull out that Blackberry Bliss, even though this was stamped yesterday. So this is a neat little way to just add depth to these roses. I saw somebody, I think she's from the UK, she watercolored, she embossed it in copper and then watercolored. It was so pretty. Okay, so you can stamp and then still pull color a day later, because I stamped this yesterday. I'm just doing the roses. I'm leaving the leaves, even though they're all Blackberry Bliss. Okay, so that's how you can pull the color and add depth to your front. Okay, so, and then I also need to do, I put one of the smaller roses on the inside in the Blackberry Bliss. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, I just put one down here in the corner. Okay. I designed this card over a week ago, so I'm trying to make sure I remember what I'm doing. And I'm not worried about ink getting on my glass mat because I can just wipe it off. Okay. So I don't make a mess, I'll just bring in my little chamois and wipe it away. So anything will wipe off of that. Okay, and then I'm just gonna pull the color out the same way. Your Wink of Stella, if you don't have the blender pens, but you have Wink of Stella will do this too. And we're gonna add Wink too. So it is what it is. You're welcome, Jane Bickle. Okay, so there's that. So now we can stamp our inside sentiment, and I'm going to use Pebbled Path, which I did not pull out, so hold on just a second. There it is. Okay. And for my inside sentiment, I pulled it from the So Sincere stamp set that was in, I think it was in the last mini, but it is a carryover item. It's a $1 Million Achiever from somebody, but I love, love, love the sentiments in there. So my inside is Your Kindness is So Appreciated. Just gonna stamp that right there in Pebbled Path. Get that out of the way. And then on the front for the sentiment, I did the Sending Thanks from this stamp set, and I stamped it right on the DSP, right down in the corner, like that. And if it's a little crooked, you can't really flip it over and do it again, so we're going with it. All right, so now I think we can assemble our card. I'm showing you guys 3 different cards using this today. I love Lisa Marie's tip about the baby wipe and the glue. Not that I did it. Maybe I will throughout the day so it doesn't dry out though. So there's our inside. So our Pebbled Path is 4 by 5 1/4, and our basic white, I almost called it Whispering White, is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Okay, so then we can just take this And hear this on the inside. Like that. Get it straight. So the kids are in watching a movie right now, but they are going to the zoo in a little bit. One of Kennedy's classmates is having a birthday party out there, and a parent offered to pick them up and take them for me so that I can stamp with you guys all day. Because Mike's out of town for work. But I didn't want her to miss the birthday party. So I'm just gonna add this little layer of the Pebble Path DSP that I ripped right onto that pool party one. I like to use the glue because you got a little wiggle room. Okay, and then we'll put this up. We'll see if we get through all 3 cards because I've got to get them ready to go too. I'm gonna try. I got all the pieces and everything cut, so it should go ahead of time. And I have my measurements here. Just ignore, I mean, this card base would work at 5.5 by 8.5, but some reason I did 4.25 by 11. And then we'll add this layer to the card front. I'll fix that though. And these, you can get all of these, designs in a PDF with a $50 order with the demo that invited you. And then if you place $75, you'll get one of the card kits that we're showcasing today in the mail as well. So now we just need to add with dimensionals. And I'm like Lisa Marie, I like to use a lot of dimensionals. Hi, Lois. So I'm gonna add a ton of dimensionals to this roses. So I don't know how many of you have been around for many, many years, but we used to have a wooden stamp called Stippled Rose, and it was just one solid, it was one stamp. That was one stamp, and I still have that. I should have brought it in. It's out in my shed. I never got rid of it. I loved it. I thought it was one of the prettiest stamps that they had come out with. Peel away all these backings. Now, I wasn't smart like Lisa Marie, and I don't have a garbage can up here. So, usually out in the shed, they end up all over the floor, but I don't want them all through my house. So we're just gonna toss them in my little bin right there. Okay, and then you just kind of layer this diagonal across the front of your card, however you want, like that. And then our final touches, we're gonna add the foiled gems, iridescent foiled gems. These are in the new mini catalog. I think they're with the Just Kidding stamp set actually, because I would have missed them because that's not a stamp I looked at. So I found them back here. The iridescent foil gems, page 49. And they're with the Just Kidding. They're with the Just Kidding suite. So I kind of skipped right past this but I would have never noticed that if I hadn't seen them in the back of the catalog. So just a tip, you can always shop from the index of the catalog in the back. All right, we'll just take your pick tool to pick these up. And we'll put a couple on our card, 2 on the bottom. I usually go 3. I always go odd numbers, and I always try to do a triangle effect. So I did a big one, 2 small and a big one. My sample used 3 small ones, so I changed it up. Okay, and then our final touches, I'm just gonna throw those there. I'm gonna use some Wink Estella. And again, I'm only putting the wink on the roses themselves. I'm not putting them on the leaves, just adding. So if you don't have the blender pen, your Wink of Stella will also pull color. But I liked the blender pen trick. I thought that was pretty neat. And wink makes everything better, doesn't it? I think I even winked the inner one. And there's our first card using the Stippled Roses, okay? So we'll set these to a side and we'll pull in our second card. Maybe I got the measurements right on this one. That's our third card. Okay, so our second card, I'm using Smoky Slate and Pretty Peacock, and I think those are such a pretty combination together. And I'm using that new layered floral 3D embossing folder. And then I used a couple of the extra leaves that are in the stamp set, and they are detailed and stitched, and I cut those out with vellum. Okay. But I wanted to show you here how I did. So my DSP and my cardstock for the front are the same size. They're both cut 4 by 5 1/4. Then I took my Pretty Peacock and I embossed it with that layered floral 3D folder from the new mini catalog, and it's gorgeous, you guys. It is so, so, so pretty. So I'm gonna show you how I got my piece. So there is no measurement. This is 4 by 5 1/4. You're just gonna put it in your trimmer where you want it. So it's gonna go kind of at an angle, and it just depends how much of a width you want and how much DSP you want to show. You're just going to snip it right in half. So technically you can get 2 cards. I love this embossing folder too, Laura. It is so pretty. So you can get 2 cards out of here. So you can use whatever piece you want, and then you can make another card and use the other piece. But we only need the 1 piece for now. And I'm gonna do the shorter one. So again, this is that softly stippled DSP. Here's the back side, and I'm just using the Smoky Slate. Kind of looks like a water brush stroke, I guess. Stampin' Up! Sometimes will release videos and show us how they make DSP, and it truly blows my mind how talented these artists are. So I'm going to use liquid glue. I like to use the liquid glue on especially the 3D embossing folders, because it gets down in the crevices and really helps it to secure. And then this is just going to fit perfect with our Smoky Slate. Now it might be a little off because the embossing folder stretches it a little bit, but it's not bad. I have Winkastella on my fingers, so I just winked the paper. Okay, and again, we're gonna stamp right on the DSP in some Pretty Peacock. And we're gonna use the congratulations from this stamp set. Trying to have everything all mounted up and ready to go. Put that right down there in the corner. And then on the inside of this one, for my sentiment, I did "I'm just so happy for you," and that is from the Good Feelings stamp set in the annual catalog. That one's been around a couple years, but I like it. I like the big bold images. "I'm just so happy for you." It's over here. And then our stamping will be done. But I'm gonna lay this in here so I kind of know where to put it. Okay, make sure I'm straight. Get that ink pad out of the way so I don't hit it. "I'm just so happy for you." Thank you, Teresa. I've had a lot of fun playing with this stamp set. It's really gorgeous. Okay, that's all the stamping we have to do. So now we just have to assemble. Okay, so I'll take this and in my Stampin' Seal, put a little strip down. I think this is too long. I think this is 3/4 of an inch. but I think I cut it a little. Better too long than too short, right? Okay, so there's our inside. I'm just gonna flip that over and snip it with my snips to get rid of that little excess. Okay, so there is our inside all done. So just adhere that. And then we'll go to the front. Oh, I forgot a layer. Bet you guys somebody might have been yelling at me. I have the pretty peacock layer to put on first. I'm really big into these double layers on the insides of my cards right now. I don't know why. I think maybe it just gives it a little pop, makes it look so much prettier. Okay, so now our inside's complete. It's got cat hair on it. So I normally don't have the cat hair problem when I'm out in the shed, but it's been so cold here, so I haven't been creating out in the shed. And with Mike out of town, it's easier to just come inside. Okay, so now to do our front, we have our piece, and I'm going to bring in this new beautiful pretty peacock and gold metallic ribbon from the mini catalog, and I'm just gonna wrap it to kind of cover up our seam a little bit where we added the two papers. And I'm just gonna cut some off like that. And then my trick to wrap my ribbon, you guys, is Scotch tape. So get it where I want it. And adhere it down with some Scotch tape in the back. Wrap it around, make sure it's where I want it. And again, secure it with some Scotch tape. Ooh, that was a really big piece, but that's okay. Okay, so that's how I adhere my ribbon. You can use glue dots, you can put some Stampin' Seal back there. I really think Scotch tape is just easier. And now we can adhere this to the front of our card. And then we'll do the roses. And I'm going to do the roses the same way I did with the Blackberry Bliss ones. So you want to make sure when you use your blender pens that you get the excess color off if you've used a different color. And you just wipe it. And we're going to pull. And again, I stamped this yesterday. Or maybe 2 days ago even. But the glycerin in this blender pen will still pull the ink to give you some color. Our blender pens have been around a really long time. Not something I got a lot of use out of. I actually got this tip from Patty Bennett. I was watching one of her videos and she showed that she had done it, and she had stamped hers like 3 or 4 days earlier and she still got it to pull color. And it just gives it that little pop, I think. Okay. So again, we're going to add dimensionals to the back of this and stick it on our card. And then the final card that I have for you guys doesn't use this big stamp. It just uses those extra die pieces that come in your die set. So lots of dimensionals. I don't want it to sag. Thank you, Ingrid. All right. So this is probably my most have stamp set when I first saw the catalog, just because I loved the old Stippled Rose that we had years ago. If I remember, I'll go out and pull it from my shed and take a picture and show you guys. I have it out there somewhere. And we're just gonna plop this on the front. And again, we're still gonna do the wink. I could have just winked it and not used the blender pen and showed you guys that that'll pull the color too. Add some wink to our roses. Give them that little sparkle. You can still see it pulling a little bit of the color too, even though I used the blender pen. Like that. Isn't that pretty? Gotta love some Wink Stella. And I forgot my leaves. So I had these extra leaves that I was gonna add. But we can still get them in there. Oh, excuse me. All right, we'll just adhere a glue dot here. I almost forgot they were laying back there. Oh, I can't get my glue dot to stick. So again, I cut these out with vellum. I'd set them up. I don't want to rip them. That's the problem. They're very, very delicate. So how can I do this? I don't know if I'm going to get them added now because of my dimensionals. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to get them tucked in there or not. And I think I'm not because my dimensionals are all going to be in the way. Okay, so don't do a Chrissy. Put your leaves on before you dimensional your rose. Because that's what it should look like. It should have extra leaves back there. So don't pull a Chrissy. All right, and then I decided to use the pretty peacock and petal pink foiled gems. These are from the new mini too. And just sprinkle a couple of those on here. So pretty. Do a small one there, a small one there. I used a big one on the other one up here. Like that. Isn't that pretty? Just imagine that there's 2 vellum leaves on there too. Silly girl. Okay. So there's our second card. Now, I told you our third card, I wanted to show you how you can just use those extra die pieces that are inside your die set. So, there's that. And here's our measurements for this. Okay. So I have a Calypso Coral card base. That's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I actually put that one right. And then I did a basic white with that layered, with that floral 3D folder, layered florals. I'm just gonna get all my pieces out. That pretty peacock is for the inside, as well as our basic white is for the inside. That strip of pretty peacock is for the outside. So we'll set those there. And then this is for our sentiment on the front. That's for the inside. All right, so then I got my pretty peacock and my DSP. And I got all my little bits. Boop, like that. Let's not lose those because I don't have extras cut. Okay. So again, I'm just going to secure my embossed basic white to my card base. That glue will get down in the nooks and crannies of the embossing folder. You could also take your blends, your Stampin' blends, and color these petals, or you could use blending brushes to add color. Thank you, Lois. Now my pretty peacock and my DSP is 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 and 3 by 3. And these are just gonna layer together and then get stuck to our card. Ingrid is up next at noon. Love these bright. Thank you. Love these bright colors. Yep, Pretty Peacock and Calypso Coral. Who knew they'd go so well together? Okay, so then this is just gonna adhere. I don't remember what stamp set Ingrid's showing us at noon though. I should have looked at the schedule, but I do know she's up at noon. And I'm just gonna kind of center that on both sides and the top. Like that. Push that down good so it adheres to that embossed image. And then we will get our Stampin' out of the way. And I just left this inside blank minus the strip of DSP. I did not add an inside sentiment. So I did the best birthday wishes. This is from the Stippled Roses. Denise, this embossing folder is gorgeous. Oh, Ingrid's coming up with the Perennial Lavender Suite. Next. And I need my Calypso Coral ink. Denise, this is probably one of my favorite embossing folders that has come out in a long time, to be honest. And I'm just going to stamp to one side. That's pretty straight. I'm just gonna go with that. Put those over there to be cleaned. That is all the stamping we're doing on this card. Now, I'm just going to, you could flag the ends, you could use a punch. I'm just gonna cut at an angle, like that. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of glue. And I'm just gonna add it to my Pretty Peacock. And this is just 3/4 of an inch of Pretty Peacock. Just needs to be longer than your sentiment, basically. And then, again, we'll line up the white where I snipped at an angle. And we'll just snip that at an angle too. Okay. So then this, ooh, look, I'm losing a flower. This I'm going to pop up on dimensionals. So your sentiment strip, depending on the size of your sentiment strips could be wider than the strips I'm using. It just is truly going to depend on the width and size of your sentiment. There's no right or wrong. Okay. And then we'll put that just below our squares. Like that. And now we will build up our little focal images. So I'm very lightly, again, these dies have stitching in them. Don't know how easy it is to see, but they are very detailed. And I'm going to put one here. And I'm going to put one here. Just a little bit of glue. Pretty Peacock is one of your favorite colors. I do like Pretty Peacock. I'm actually very glad it came back. Okay, so there we have our two little focal leaves and stems. And then our flowers also have stitching. So there's three sizes. So you got a big one, a medium one. I have glue on my fingers. Let me grab that chamois and wipe my fingers off. Jane, the stitching really does add depth to the leaves and flowers. It just makes them, I don't know, look more realistic, I guess. So you have a big one, a big, medium, and a small. So we'll use each of those. And then I don't have many dimensionals in here. Like I said, I'm not out in the shed. And if I bring much more stuff in, I'm gonna have over half my shed in here, I think. So I'm just taking the edges of dimensionals and literally using tiny little pieces. And I'm only gonna do 4. The tiny, tiny ones we're just gonna glue down on the card. So put one on the big one. Oops. I should have went and got mini dimensionals because these are gonna, I think I got 2 at the same time. Now they're sticking to my nails. There we go. I'm honestly surprised you guys haven't heard my kids scream. They're actually listening and staying in their room. I think they're watching a movie together. I'm gonna try to pick that up with your, take your pick and see if that helps. There we go. And I'll do the big one and the medium one. Okay, mini dimensionals would work just as good, trust me. But I don't have any in here. All right, so then you just kind of place these wherever you would like them on your stems. Put a big one there. Put a medium one over here. And then we're just gonna glue those tiny, tiny ones down. Get these backings off. Put the medium one over here on this one. And the big one down here. And then we will add a tiny dot of glue. Thank you, Jane. Does anybody else have this set and have you played with it? It really is fun to play with. There's that one. And here's this one. Or maybe I helped you fall in love with it and you'll add it to your wish list. Again, this bundle's $54, so it would earn you the paper, the softly stippled paper for free. And then of course, we're just gonna wink our little flowers. Why not? So I used wink on all 3 of these projects. Isn't that funny? Ooh, that glue didn't hold. There we go, get down there. And then I will bring in the opaque faceted gems. These are in the Celebration brochure. I think Lisa showed them earlier. And I don't have my brochure here, but they're a little bit hidden in the book. Like you could easily miss them, but they are in there. And I'm going to use these Calypso Coral ones. Oh, there's my brochure. So the opaque gems, they're hidden almost as well as the ribbon that Lisa couldn't find earlier. There's those gems. They're like right in the crease on page 8 and 9. But they are Calypso Coral, Pecan Pie, and Pool Party. Thank you, Ava. And then we'll just use the take your pick tool. Pick up a couple of these small ones. Or it'll just stick to my finger. Put 2 of the small ones. And then we'll stick a bigger one up here in the corner. So those are free with a $50 order as well. All right. So here's my 3 projects for you, showing the stippled roses in the mini catalog. So there's that card. I'll bring in the one that has the leaves on it, my sample card. And then the pretty Blackberry Bliss one. See, Ingrid, you almost missed those gems too. I missed them the first time I looked through the book because they're hidden in the seam. Thank you, Lois. All right, friends, Ingrid will be up in about 20 minutes showing you the Perennial Lavender Suite from the mini catalog. I will be back on live at 3 p.m. Central Time, and I will be using the Sending Love bundle from the mini catalog with some of the mostly adored free DSP. So until then, have fun watching everybody else's videos. I am going to go get 2 kids ready to go to the zoo and send them off to a birthday party. So I will be back with you guys watching videos as they all do their lives. And then I'll be back on live at 3 o'clock. Thank you, Denise. See you guys later. Bye.